I've been playing the new hero Phoenix in early access for about a week. Now I'm going to teach you what I learned and get you ready to win some games. This is a character that I think everyone will be able to play, so don't worry if you're not a top 500 player or at the highest ranks of this game. Phoenix is a character that anyone can pick up and do well with. Let's talk about her strengths and weaknesses, and then let's dig a little deeper into how you should be using her abilities. For her strengths, she is a ranged hero. So she's good at poking the enemy, she's great against groups who are playing together around objectives, and her ultimate is great in the middle of team fights since she can dispel bonus health, shields, summons, allowing your teammates a greater chance to wipe the enemy with her ultimate. For her weaknesses, really, you should worry about divers and brawlers. Anyone that gets close to her face is going to be a problem. Phoenix has ways to deal with these characters, but she can be overwhelmed more by these types of heroes. The first and most important thing you need to understand is this mechanic called her spark. Her spark is the key to unlocking her entire kit, and understanding this will help you carry games because this is what's going to unlock your damage. A spark is this symbol that appears above someone's head after you attack them with your primary attack or other abilities. Headshots count for 2 sparks. You can even melee to apply a spark. Applying a spark 3 times to an enemy will cause an explosion, which will do a decent amount of damage in an area, and this can apply spark to other affected enemies too. It's also worth noting that each of these explosions heals you over time, allowing you to maintain off angles while attacking enemies from range. This explosion mechanic is the key to everything. You want to be causing as many explosions as you can to create a chain reaction of explosions to enemies nearby each other. This should be your goal as Phoenix. And when you do see enemies nearby each other, take those opportunities to apply spark to that group of enemies, even if you have to shoot different enemies at a time. Which is why I want you to save your ultimate fire for these opportunities. Her ultimate fire ability, I want to break down just a little, because it does more than meets the eye at first glance. Her ultimate fire has a lot of utility to it. It casts a field of fire wherever you're aiming, and it travels 2 paces in whichever direction you're facing, which works on the ground and other surfaces. The first blast stuns enemies, and the other explosions will slow enemies. This attack will also not work in an empty space like targets in the air that are not next to a surface like a wall, because when you hit an enemy with it, it actually affects the surface that they're next to or nearby. So you may not want to be using this against flyers. If the target is hit by your ultimate fire, they're affected by sparks, and since this attack travels in an area, that is the reason why you may want to save this ability for enemies grouped up, just so you can get a little bit more damage out of that ability and try to make the most value you can from this. It's very good, so be wise with how you use it. Using this on walls, you can control the direction the blast travels. If facing the wall directly, just shooting the wall will make it travel straight up. But if you're looking to the left or to the right, this will affect the angle it travels, letting you decide which direction it can go on a surface. Take a look at how I'm doing it here, which I think demonstrates how you can affect the direction it travels in. You can also use this ability to stun people out of their ultimates, and it will catch people off guard. In testing, I found myself unintentionally canceling ultimates, just using it as an ability. So I see that happening for you occasionally. But if you can anticipate someone about to ult like a Doctor Strange, it will make all the difference and create so much value for your team in stopping. Now I want to talk about where you want to position yourself as Phoenix, because positioning is important with this hero. Positioning wise, you are a ranged hero, so you want to create wide angles for yourself so you can have better angles and line of sight on the enemy. Using her flight ability, you can reposition yourself around the enemy to find angles you can play around. Cover is going to be important though, because you are vulnerable out in the open. Being able to heal yourself from your own explosions is going to allow you to fight from off angles a little bit longer than you could normally with other heroes, and it'll help your healers out too. But it's important that you're getting as much damage out of your explosions as you can. Phoenix does have a flight ability that she can use to reposition, but you can't attack while in this flight mode. It has its own flight meter, which you can see in the middle of your screen, which lets you know how long you can use this ability for. And it recharges quickly, so if you do get into a jam, you probably have this ability again to get somewhere more safe. It's important to maintain a medium distance against the enemy and to use your team as an anchor to base your position off of. You really don't want to be too close to the enemy. You want to play with your team, but around the enemy. If you let enemies get too close to you, you could put yourself in a bad situation and find yourself out of position. If you do find yourself in a bad position where you need to get away very quickly, you can use her escape ability to break line of sight and find a better position. Let me explain how you can use it. This ability is more of a quick teleportation and not so much a dash. In testing, I found that if you use it in the direction of a health pack, for example, you don't pick up the health pack, which kind of sucks. But I want you to know this because it's gotten me eliminated trying to get a health pack with this escape ability. You have to run into the health pack normally. This ability also leaves behind a decoy too, which doesn't last too long, and explodes. It leaves behind a spark on enemies too, which will help you in defending yourself. If you need to win a duel with an enemy in your face, meleeing them between your attacks will quickly stack sparks on them, which will trigger that explosion I keep talking about much sooner. I found that against venoms or things or pretty much anyone in my face that this was useful against, because remember, the explosion is what you want. The explosion is where the damage is at, and the explosion is everything. Using her alternate fire together with her primary on individual targets is also great burst damage and can help you win duels. But remember, that alternate fire isn't so great against flyers, so just keep that in mind for your duels. Now what I want to talk about is her ultimate. There are some things you want to look out for. Her ultimate raises her higher in the sky, then allows her to control a phoenix and guide it to wherever, delivering a powerful attack with quite the range. This move will cancel many different things, which I have a whole video about explaining everything her ultimate does and doesn't cancel, so definitely watch that video if you haven't seen it and share it with your friends. The first thing you need to look out for when using this ultimate is to make sure there's nothing above you. Anything that has collision is going to mess up your ult and be very awkward. You want to use this ultimate in an open space where you have a lot of room to guide the phoenix to wherever you want it to go. The ultimate applies 2 stacks of spark on affected enemies. So what I like to do is apply spark to enemies before I use the ultimate so that I can guarantee they explode on top of the damage from my ultimate. Being that the ultimate cancels out shields, bonus health, and can completely eliminate enemy defenses like shields, this allows your teammates to pop off with their own ultimates too, or at least make it easier for them to secure more eliminations. Don't hold on to this ultimate for too long to try to find the perfect play. This ultimate also resets your health after you crash the Phoenix, which basically grants you a second life, which could help you in a bad situation. Overall, Phoenix is a very strong character, but I don't think she's overpowered. She's a lot in line with Hela, who also plays very similar. I think Hela players are going to shine the most on Phoenix as their kits are very similar, but have different uses. Hela is a character who is still great at single target burst damage, while Phoenix excels at doing damage against groups, so time will tell where the meta goes. But if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe, really helps me out. Share this video with a friend, and look out for my future videos. Happy rivaling, enjoy Phoenix. Take it easy, and peace out.